I'm not saying I'm going to rule the world or I'm going to change the world, but I guarantee that I will spark the brain that will change the world, and that's our job.
You have to make it. Chill. What up, DMV? We getting money, whole time, fucking bitches, whole time, rapping DC, whole time. We getting money, whole time, fucking bitches, whole time, rapping DC, whole time. Your shine, whole time, whole time, doing this, whole time, whole time, whole time, doing this, whole time, whole time, whole time, doing this, whole time, man, you're back, whole time, doing this, whole time.
Like a Tribe Called Quest. You say the whole thing.
Man, it has been so long since I've been able to say feels good to be back. Welcome to a pod named Kickback. It's like a Tribe Called Quest. You say the whole thing. Also known as the Black CNN and the Revolution will be televised. I'm no breaks, no the righteous ratchet. If you throw it, I'll catch it. If you got it, I'll match it. Each and every week, we right back at it. Except the last 2 months. We right back at it. I am the Black Savage, and I am joined by the corporate Black girl. I'll let you introduce yourself.
I'm Brittany Sade, the corporate Black girl. I mean, at this point, you know, I shouldn't have to keep reintroducing myself. You know what I'm saying?
You know, I'm used to doing my little speech, so I do my little tagline every week. But I'm gonna call you the Celtic Black girl today because the Celtics playing.
Yeah.
Now, how did you become a Celtics fan?
Oh gosh, this story. So, I mean, growing up in North Carolina, at the time it was the Charlotte Bobcats. It was like, okay. And I was just watching basketball. I've always watched basketball. I played basketball. And I really fell in love with the Celtics during the Doc Rivers, Ray Allen, Rajon Rondo, KG. That era was when I fell in love with them. And I just kind of stuck with them ever since.
Okay. You stuck with them ever since. That remind me.
I'm going to stick beside them.
I'm going to do the same thing with my Wizards. What I mean, I see we're not in the playoffs this year. We don't even have a general manager, and we need to be without a coach. We got a lot of things to do before we get to the Celtics level. I'm sticking with my team. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to stick with them. And I'm thinking the playoffs, we'll get to that, but I'm kind of rooting for Steph. I picked Steph and the Warriors to win the whole thing. I had them beating the Bucks. So you see the Bucks already gone, so that ain't going to happen. So I'm trying to see if my Warriors pick is going to come true, even though LeBron's trying to end that real quick.
Yeah, I would prefer to see the Celtics beat Golden State. Like, I want Golden State to definitely beat the Lakers. Like, we'll get to that.
But I wouldn't mind Lakers Celtics. But yeah, like you said, we'll get to that.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind that either.
Yeah. So let's see. It was a lot of viral stories this week. It was a lot of stuff going on. I do want to sponsors. How about that? Shout out to Mo's Marvelous Cleaning. If she's still a sponsor, she probably won't clean your house no more because we ain't been on the air in 2 months. But if she will do it, it'll run for 10% off. And mysexroom.net, hit them up for all your goodies. And how about this? As of last month, you can now reach out to me for all of your life insurance needs. I got you. No more GoFundMes. You're getting coverage now. All right?
I like it.
Yes, ma'am. And our viral story of the week.
My left stroke just went viral.
All right. Okay, you can tell me a little rusty because I didn't ask you how you were. I didn't ask you what your high of the week was. I can't even say high of the week. Your high of the last couple months and your low of the last couple months.
High, low. Who wants to go first?
You want to go first? Or you want me to start it off?
You can start it off.
All right. Let's see. I'll start with my low. You guys know I shut the pod down for a couple months because I left to go to DC and I was dealing with a sick parent who ultimately transitioned. And that was my low. I've been home for like 5 weeks. I've never been anywhere for 5 weeks and didn't move. like to visit, but it was a lengthy process. Thankfully, because I got to spend a lot of time with my aunt who raised me, so my mother. But that was my low, just dealing with that. I would say my high has been launching my new business, and just seeing how things are going. I was supposed to launch before I left for DC, but I left and was dealing with that. But so far so good. I'm enjoying doing a service for people. I'm enjoying a couple extra pennies that come my way. I could
Right.
probably afford Ebony K. Williams soon. You know what I'm saying?
That's
So,
hilarious.
so that's my high low. What's your high low?
Well, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank
Sorry
you.
to hear about the loss. I've already talked to you about that, but definitely congratulations on starting your business.
Thank you.
Doing great things out here because people definitely need to get that life insurance, at least get life insurance. It's not very expensive. So my high, honestly, it's just been a lot of it's been real, it's just I don't know. I can't pick one in particular. I mean, I know of one, but I really can't speak on it right now. But career-wise, a lot of great things are happening for me.
Okay.
So I'm excited about that. My low is actually, you will not believe what happened to me on Sunday.
What happened to you on Sunday?
So I'm in Atlanta driving, and where you kind of cross over, like if you were to be like, how it's like 75 and then it's like 16th, 14th,
Hmm.
whatever. And then you can cross over to like get on 75 if you're coming off of like 14th, that little, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, but what
It's
did you
almost like a
do? This
bridge.
does not
And
sound good.
just okay. So I'm at that light trying to get like on the 75, right? The water boys are outside. I'm looking for cash. I can't find any cash. So I'm like, well, I rolled down the window. I'm like, I don't want no water or nothing because I never do. I was just like, but I'll give you a little money or whatever. What's your cash app? So my phone was plugged in my car, my car charger. So I just like held the phone like this so he could put his cash app in. That little boy took my phone out of my hand and proceeded to pass it around to his little friends. I know that they're like cash apping themselves or whatever, or they're trying. So what's going on is like they're trying to act like it's not working. They can't find their cash app, right? And I was trying to act stupid because what I didn't want was for them to run off with my phone unlocked.
Right.
So I didn't want them to know that I knew what they were doing, but I saw one of the little boys shaking. Like when I say they were passing around, they were passing it around. So next thing you know, they finally give this little boy. I'm like, not trying to get completely out my car, but I'm like, hey, yo, give me my phone. Like everybody at the light then turned green. Like cars are like trying to get like going around me and everything. I'm out here with these little water boys trying to get my phone. It's about 5 of them. They're passing it around. So finally they come back towards my car. I'm like, yo, can I please have my phone? The little boy is shaking. I get my phone back. All I see is a whole bunch of charges. I'm like, I be John Brown. They ended up stopping and finally giving my phone back because one of the transactions had finally failed for my protection because basically Cash App finally realized that there were too many transactions going to different people from my phone. So I get my phone back. I'm shaking. I'm supposed to be going to have Sunday fun day. So I call my homegirl that have done Pilates. You know what I'm saying? My kickball game got canceled. So I'm like, let's go eat. So I'm excited that that happened. So I finally get to my homegirl and I'm like, can you do me a favor? And she's like, what's up? I was like, can you add this up for me? Long story short, the total was $5,250.
Whoa. Whoa.
But what I will say is that I was, thankfully they didn't wipe me out completely. One, two, Cash App did like basically like fix all of it within like 48. It took about 2.5 days.
Okay.
So I got my money back, but I
Oh,
say
good, good, good.
I did end up getting my money back. But the low was obviously going through that and not really knowing because everybody knows. Like when I was telling everybody Cash App, they was like, girl, you probably should have filed a police report because you're gonna have to call your bank. But Cash App fixed it. And I think they fixed it because they like once they realized that one had failed, it wasn't really hard to prove that was somebody had temporarily stole my phone. So that was like my low, because when that happened, obviously it freaked me out. But then I mean, it ended up working out in my favor. It definitely taught me a lesson though, because I am one of those people that I always want to help people. And I've also been one of the people that's like, I'm not scared of my people. I'm not worried about my people. And it's like, maybe I should be a little bit more cautious. But yeah, that would have to be my low.
Yeah, that's my low too. Damn. God. But you know what's crazy? I don't know how you felt, but I have a small inkling of an idea, because I was ordering food. All the fellas got together. So one guy was gonna pay with his car, so we all cash apping on the money. And let's say his name was like Bill Jim 335.
Mm,
I cash app my little $30 to Bill Jim 336. And I'm like, why would it be another name so close? And why would it be another name that close? And the guy to my money, I hit him like, hey man, send my money back. And I hit cash every meeting for a little $30. Then I was in my feelings. I got it back like that night or the next morning. But
so he did send it back?
But he did it. He meant zero go silent. But Cash App refunded it to me. I don't know if they went to his account or how they got it, but they did something and sent it back. But I'm just like, if it would have been, and I was 30. If it had been 300, I'd have been mad.
Yeah.
If it had been 3,000, I would have been furious.
Yeah.
5,000, I might have.
Yeah. In the moment, I was just shaking, because I think for me, I was just I felt a little bit like that was on me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I should have just kept it pushing. I didn't have cash like I normally do. I should have just kept it pushing. And then secondly, obviously, like when I said I was like shaking, because who knows what would have happened if they had my phone unlocked.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, they weren't one of them money, you know what I'm saying? Hey, money, they might have been,
Yeah, you might have went viral.
Everything on there isn't in the vault. You know what I mean? So I was just very worried about a few things, but I'm glad I got my phone back, and I'm glad that everything was fixed within a few. And I am glad, I'm like, if it had to happen to somebody, I am glad it happened to me, because in a situation where you're dealing with that and you're taking people's money, now I don't ever have money, to waste or to give away, but at least I was still good. Had that have been anybody else, you don't know how they would have reacted. Yeah. And so a part of me is just like, I can't really necessarily teach them a lesson, because they dipped off. Like, they was like, oh yeah, we hit our lick. We don't have to sell no more waters probably for like 2 weeks. But 3 weeks maybe.
Right. So you never heard this has happened to people before. This is that story.
I never, honestly, I had heard about them being aggressive, like trying to make you give them money, but I ain't never heard about them like stealing.
You ever heard on Instagram, it's a girl made a video. Let me tell you what happened with me and the Water Boys and this. And they did the same thing. They literally just cashed out themselves, I don't know, some crazy amount of money. And she was all upset about it. Like, yeah, I better watch them boys. So I saw that. So when you're telling me the story, I'm like,
damn, they be running the same lick.
Yeah.
Crazy. There's a dummy. She ain't got no cash, y'all. Like, yeah.
Well, I'm glad we got past that. Now, something that I don't want to move too far past quickly. Did I say that right? The Met Gala. Now, I'm a fan of the outfits. I like the little crazy outfits, whatever people do every year. Some of it's way over the top and not my thing, but some of it's kind of cool. And I'm like, oh, that was fly.
Yeah. Like Doja.
Yeah, like Doja.
That was hard.
I'm a Doja fan. I like Doja, whatever she got on, to be honest. But I want you to break it down, because this should be, I think, your level of expertise.
Well, I can't call it expertise, because your girl's been in her bag. So I just was scrolling, from what I saw from the post on Instagram. I mean, Twitter is the main place. I think if you have Twitter, you don't really have to watch anything unless you just want to go back for context. But as far as the looks that I saw, I really thought that Halle Bailey looked really pretty. Kim looked really pretty. Cardi killed it.
Oh, she had two outfit change, didn't she?
Yeah. And all of her outfits went. Shout out to Carisha. She did her thing. Okay.
Her and Diddy look good.
Her and Diddy did look very, very well.
You hear that interview?
Yeah.
Okay.
I wish people would leave that
Relax.
situation alone because
Mhm.
they are very comfortable. Both of them know exactly what's going on. Carisha is completely comfortable with the type of relationship they have. And at the end of the day, it's like you really have a man out here. Like who cares about the title? Who cares about the in and outs? But this man is publicly talking about how much he cares about this woman, regardless of a title. And if she is okay, like if you like it, I love it. I don't understand
Right.
how people can be so invested in other people's business that you want something more than they do.
Right. They can't get beyond their myopic view. It's just what they want. And no, you're supposed to be this way and it's supposed to be this way. And they look at it and it's almost like a visceral response. Like you can't be happy doing it the way you want to do it. Like, what? Yeah, you can.
Exactly. So, but those were my favorites. Did I say Kim? Kim killed it.
Yeah.
God, who am I missing? Tim's looked really cute.
Always. You missing Riri and Rocky.
Yes, yes, they looked cute. I was gonna save Rihanna for last, save the best for last
Okay.
because she looks so cute with her natural pregnant self. But
Mhm.
I feel like Rihanna is just one of those people that like it really doesn't take much for her, so much so that like she can do no wrong in my eyes. Like even when there's things that I would say like I feel like no one else should wear it and you wouldn't catch me dead wearing it or doing it, etc. Like Rihanna can literally do it. But
Yeah.
I thought last night was Tiana Taylor looked really cute. And I know that's right. They were talking about her for having Chick-fil-A, but I am not mad at
I wasn't mad at that.
I'm not
I
mad
was a good
at
laugh
all.
for me.
Yeah, I'm not mad at it. But yeah.
Okay, there we go. Yeah, so I didn't now they don't serve much. Is it they don't serve much food or they don't serve good food at this Met Gala?
I mean, you gotta think about it. By the time it starts, it's almost like a wedding and then a reception. Like, if there's no cocktail hour before the reception, you're gonna be hungry. So I feel like
Mhm.
that's all it was. It was literally just I eat every 2 to 3 hours. I already know what this is gonna be. Let me come prepared.
Mhm. And some people probably didn't eat the whole day trying to make sure they fit into them outfits.
Yeah, because I mean that is a whole production. Because when you have these stylists, you have to make sure you're taking pictures. You got to make sure you're on time. A lot of them did reels and like behind the scenes for the different stylists. So makeup, hair. I mean, I can only imagine it's probably a whole day thing getting ready for that and then getting the footage.
Especially if you're like Janelle Monáe and you put on like umbrella or whatever that was.
Right.
That is a production, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. She looked good too.
Oh yeah.
And apparently at the after party, she took the thing off and just was in
You know,
like
she was in her
undergarment,
own little world getting it. You know what I mean?
getting it.
I'm not really sure if she was just feeling the music or if that was a part of the after party, but I mean, either way, she was getting it.
Hey, I ain't mad.
Mm-mm.
I say I double tapped that video for
They
sure.
had a time. Me too. I saw a couple of them. I went ahead and double tapped. She was getting it to me. She was doing it better than I can.
Hey. Okay. And this is the biggest story of the week. I can't go on social media without seeing this. It's a lot. And I want to shout out to Ebony K. Williams. I've loved her on State of the Culture and a few other things, even listen to her podcast. But if you've been under a rock, she interviewed Iyanla Van Zant, and they were having a discussion. And what I think is missing is context in this. They're having a discussion where Ebony is basically telling Iyanla, I know you can't, we can't, I guess, put the blame on men or tell men how to be men. We're not going to do that. But what she's saying, what she will say is she's not happy with the selection of men that's available to her, black, white, whatever. She's dating them all, and she's not able to find what she wants. The financial stability that she wants, the relationship qualities. It's just a shortage of good men, and she's frustrated.
Yeah. Well-rounded men, right? Because like
Well-rounded.
you could find a good man, but it's like, oh,
I'll take that. I'll take that caveat.
yeah.
And Iyanla said, "Well, would you date a bus driver?" And she responded kind of flippantly, if he owned the bus. And Iyanla took exception to that, saying, see, that's pretty much what the problem is. You have a bus driver that loves you, worships you, treats you well, protects you, is that well-rounded man, but he's a bus driver. Why couldn't you find happiness in that? And she was saying she could do it. And Ebony, that's not her thing. And it's not wrong of her to feel like that's not her thing, because I've seen that as well. And you can have your own standards. I don't think we don't need to be the standard police. That's kind of corny. But I do think that what I took exception to a little bit was it didn't, and I see this online. If I say I don't want to date a woman with children, just not my thing, that's one statement. If I, say women with children aren't quality, that's another statement. And that's more so how Ebony's statement came off. Those men that drive buses, that they're not quality, because she's complaining about finding quality. And she's saying no to those men because they aren't quality. And I took exception to that. You have the right to date anybody you want. I don't look at people's profession really as a deterrent, unless you're like, I don't know. I don't think I dated a police officer. Just for obvious reasons. And I don't think I would date I would marry a stripper. But I just kind of was like, I saw a lot of women chiming in, and that's right. And I think all of that makes sense for you if you can find the kind of man you want. If you can't find the kind of man you want, or you can't get the man you want, then I do think at that point you kind of need to be realistic, and not the Kevin Samuels realistic. I mean, like if you can't get
in the lakes that you're used to realistic.
No, because I wouldn't go that far.
You have to stay in your lane. Like, it's one thing to want a certain caliber of individual or person, but you also have to make sure that in that whole sense of I can reciprocate everything I can require, that you would meet that quality or standard that you are expecting. You see what I'm saying? So that's one piece of it. I think that like when I listen to people, I really do try to understand what they're intending to say and not always their words, because I feel like in her mind, that quality, a part of quality was that financial stability. And that was the part that threw her off. Now, does that necessarily make you of lower quality because you're in a lower tax bracket? No, not if you have good money management, because you can be low quality even from a financial standpoint, regardless of how much you make. So I know somebody had made a joke, like, people go in your DMs and be like, would you date a bus driver? And I looked up, the salary.
Me too.
But I think for me, I'm not necessarily, like, from that standpoint, I'm not necessarily concerned about the title. I'm more concerned about the compensation and your ability. Like, I'm like, I don't care what you do as long as obviously you have integrity and morals within whatever you're doing, and preferably legal. But as long as you can take care of yourself and still buy me gifts, it's not a problem. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You can drive the bus if you're able to do that. But there's also a certain quality, like there's also a certain, I would say, standard or quality of living that I'm used to. So if you can't keep up with that, I'm not going to have you trying to chase something that you can't necessarily obtain or maintain. And I think that that's kind of sort of where people, A, they take offense, and B, they try to be something that they're not. And that's why I tell people they got to stick to the rivers and lakes that they're used to. If Brittany likes certain stuff and that that's not really where you are, like, just leave it alone. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like men should, it's an ego thing, but I feel like men should be more accepting of that. Especially if you're dealing with a woman who, but
who I think isn't accepting of it?
Whole thing of, it's like, okay, would you date a bus driver? Would a bus driver be comfortable dating me? Because you got to think about it. A lot of men are not comfortable with not being the breadwinner, and that causes other issues as far as how they treat you. So in a lot of cases, it's like, no, I've done it. And I'll say both times I did it, it ended up in that individual trying to make sure that I didn't feel superior because I was the breadwinner. And so now it's just like, I would rather let me date a man that's making more. You know what I'm saying? So you don't have those issues.
Yeah, I think in those situations, there are men who are insecure about that. I know men like that. I mean, and they don't use the word insecure, but they don't feel comfortable if a woman makes more money than them. Me myself, I would like to make more than my woman, and that's always the goal. But I don't really feel no way that if a woman makes more money than me, it doesn't, because I don't. That's not where I put, you know, all my value. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, I think sometimes women. I was at a kickback, and I may have told you this story. I'm not sure. And the woman was there, and this was around the holidays, like Christmas or whatever. This wasn't. Well, no, this was. Can't remember exactly when it was. I do think it was around the holidays, and we were just talking, and somebody brought up Kevin Samuels, and it was like more like a conversation kickback. And this one young lady who I wasn't attracted to, but she wasn't bad looking. She was decent. She was saying, I make all this money. I can't find a man here in Atlanta to make the kind of money that I make. And she just upset and frustrated and talk. And then she flipped and says, and the men that do make that kind of money, Kevin Samuels got them thinking they the prize and they the high value man, and they want to have 2-3 women. They want to do this and they want to do that, and they're not trying to settle down and this. I was like, wait. Baby, that's not them. That's you. They don't want you. Just like you don't want the broke dude, the dude with money that you like. He doesn't want you. So now, what will you do? You know what I'm saying? You expect men, women say all the time, he got to be at least, 6'2", make 200,000 a year.
We ain't gonna do that now because men have the most ridiculous standards with their
Really?
dad bods and bare bellies. What? My girl got to be thick. Her skin complexion's got to be this. Her hair got to be like
I've
that.
never heard men talk like that.
How they want their girl to look.
No, she gotta be.
She gotta be. Yes, in order for a man to want her, not for a man to hit. Men are gonna hit, and
Oh yeah.
you know what I'm talking about. For a man
to
want to claim you as theirs. Yes, and men are less likely to settle in that aspect than women are.
Well, the woman, and it's probably a demographic thing because the women that I'm speaking of that have these financial goals that are complaining about not getting the man that they want, they are, that's the only thing that trips me out is they're angry. They're angry at men. Like they're angry at Kevin Samuels because he made men think they're the prize. That's literally what she said. So you're mad because you can't get the man you want. I don't know men that are mad they can't get the woman they want. Like when women, I was somewhere and a woman was like, if you don't make $200,000 a year, don't even come in my face. You know what I did? I stayed the hell out of her face.
How much?
I think it was $200,000 a year.
Oh, I thought you said something else. I was about to say, that's it.
Oh,
but okay, I got it.
So I just stayed out of face. I didn't take offense to it. It didn't make me because I wasn't making 200,000. So I'm like, I'm cool. I wasn't mad. It was really, it was like she wasn't talking to me. I had no reason to be angry. You know what I'm saying? I'm okay. Hope you find it. Whatever. But women, you say that to a woman, I want a woman that has this shape or this, that. And if you ain't got that, stay on my face, then the women get angry about it. And that's the thing. Have you ever seen a man get upset because a woman said, "Oh, you don't have 200,000, so you can't, whatever"?
Yes.
Okay. I said correctly.
It works both ways, but when I will say that there's a lot more on the list as far as physical for a man than for a woman. Now, characteristics for women may be a little bit longer, but I'm talking about when just straight off physical, period. And if you can't make it past that, then it just is what it is. And so, I mean, I definitely think that for men, men are definitely more visual than women are as far as that's concerned. So, I mean, it is what it is. I don't like to get into those conversations because I don't ever want to like come off a certain type of way, but like I've never really had those types of issues dating. I'll say that. So, I mean, I don't know if that is why I'm not like a man hater or like bitter or anything like that. Like I'm a woman's woman, but I don't hate men. because at the end of the day, I know what's for me is for me. And God's going to give me the desires of my heart. So I don't be tripping.
Yeah, and maybe that's rich or not, whatever I've been able to do. I've never really been hurting. You know what I'm saying? Like my personality goes a long way. But I do think that the general consensus is pretty much. I mean, Evan, if you can get the man you want, go get him. You know what I'm saying? And you don't have to date a bus driver. You don't. I have a question for you, Brittany. Do you think the bus driver thing is about the amount he makes, or you think it's just that he's not an entrepreneur,
Well, it probably has a little bit.
boss, or whatever?
It probably has to do with a little bit of both. I feel like people don't understand like just the entrepreneur title itself doesn't necessarily mean that you make more than somebody in corporate.
Exactly.
Because the CEOs of these different companies are not the owners, they are employees, and they make great money. So that's why I say, for me, dealing with money, knowing what money looks like and how it works, I'm not so bent on a title. I'm more bent on, that's why like it was like bus driver. Well, for me, it didn't matter what bus driver was. I instantly went in and looked for the compensation. It's like, I don't care if you were a janitor. If they're making money, they're making money. You know what I'm saying? Construction workers making money. So I don't care
Mhm.
about the title personally.
Trash man. Yeah.
Hmm?
Trash man. I
Okay.
know that might be the extreme, but trash man making some money.
They
Making
making
some
money.
money. Yeah.
Now I
Well,
might, we might have to figure out about this, the way you be probably be
okay.
after a certain period of time, but as long as that's
Right.
under control, hey, we ain't got no issues here.
Boom. So, what is a what do you think is there a consensus on the salary that the well, not the bus driver, but that the man should make that would eliminate a bus driver from that conversation? Because I looked it up, and bus drivers, it was a 5-year projection at about 80,000, and I'm like, well, if they started in their 20s and Ebony's in her 40s, by the time they got to their 40s, they should be well over 100,000, or somewhere in that vicinity. So, you think there's a dollar amount cutoff that Ebony, women like her, have in mind?
Probably, because if depending on what and honestly, I don't keep up with Ebony. So I don't know like what she does or what her like career is or what her compensation is, but if she's somebody making over 80K, over 100K, that still may not be appeasing to her, because again, a lot of times women are looking for men who are making more than them, and what men don't understand is that it's kind of a thing for two reasons. One, because I'm sure a lot of women, because before social media, before all of the politics of if you're not doing this, you're not popping X, Y, and Z, we were not concerned about that. You know what I'm saying? So the issue then was, well, if you're the breadwinner as a woman, now you've got other issues to deal with. And of course, there's exceptions, right? Like, I'm not saying every single situation is like that, because there are a lot of confident men out here who support their breadwinner of a woman, and life is great. They pick up in other areas, and it works for them. The second thing too is that men are so ego driven that the only quality or the only thing that they're looking to possess or can literally give is money. They're not giving you the emotional intelligence. They're not giving you, hell, they're hardly giving you the commitment. You know what I'm saying? They're not giving you they're not giving the romance and all those other things. So of course a woman's going to go into it like, hey, if I've got to compromise and everything else because this is just a general thing with men, then yeah, I would like for him to have some money. Like I would like to be able to go shop to feel better about the fact that my man is a terrible communicator. Yes. Pay me to deal with your poor communication.
Well, what if he gives you everything else, but he makes
Yeah. Huh?
70,000 a year, but he gives you everything else?
70K?
I'm trying to think of a 60K. I don't know, just a number that's below where you
60K.
would want him to
We're
be.
gonna go lower?
Well, I'm trying
Oh,
to think of a number that'll make it tough for you.
You gonna
I'm
ask
trying to make
me?
it, huh?
You was asking me?
Yeah, I'm just trying to make it tough.
Personally?
That number could be 100K. 100K cannot be enough for you. Just whatever's below your threshold. If you
Oh,
get
okay.
anything right,
Let's
but
so
he's
you're
below
saying
whatever.
whatever's below my threshold, but he literally brought everything else, like cooking too.
Sure.
Yeah, we could work with it. We could
Okay.
work.
And I think that's what meant that's the part that was disconnected. It sounded like with Ebony, it's nothing. It doesn't matter how great he is. If he does not either have that title or that dollar amount, it's a wrap. We're like, damn.
Did she say title or dollar amount, or did she say
She
title
said
and?
she wouldn't dare to drive a bus unless he owned it. So it's like, and I don't know if that's the title of owner or if it's the dollar amount she assumes he will make. Because you could be the owner. I've had some businesses where I was the owner, ain't had no money, and I
Yeah,
had some
that's what I'm
jobs
saying.
where I was doing very well.
You have
So
to be very careful with that. And that's why I'm like, I'm more concerned with the compensation, not the title, not even the popularity. Because you don't have to be popping to be paid. And
boom,
at the end of the day, we trying to get paid.
that's the quarter of the week. You don't have to be popping to be paid.
No, sir.
Brittany Sade said it first here.
You're
Let's get into our what the fuck story of the week.
It's the mayor. Stay fly, stay high. What the fuck? You know what it is. What the fuck?
But you know I could do auto tune, did you?
No, I didn't know until I've heard this song for the 10
I gotta keep the music career alive.
I finally know who it is now.
Oh, you just figured out that's me?
No, I figured it out last time.
Okay.
2 months ago.
Cool. Damn, 2 months ago. Yeah, you're right. Sorry, Kickback, because there was things going on in the world. I had to get the money right for Ebony K. Sorry, I had to go do some things. But what the fuck story of the week, man? AI. This whole AI thing is it's really messing with my head on several fronts. On a more simplistic, simple level. Huh?
So why would he do something like that?
I mean, it's
every time I see AI, I'm like, what did Allen Iverson do this time?
Really? I saw a meme like that.
Every time I be like this. Oh man, they talking about artificial intelligence.
Exactly. Not AI, not Bubba Chuck. Shout out Bubba Chuck, DMV finest. But yeah, I mean, on the more simplistic level, it's the music. It's I've heard Biggie sing the lyrics to "Hit 'Em Up," dissing himself. I heard Michael Jackson rapping the lyrics to "Down for My Niggas" by C Murder. I've heard Tupac rapping Drake lyrics. I'm just like, this is crazy.
Yeah. Did you not see like the guy? My first time seeing it was that viral video of that this guy like producing, like he wrote his own lyrics, but he put Kanye's voice on top of it. And it was a dope song. Like I'm like, dang, Kanye probably should hit him up. But you would have thought Kanye rapped it.
Yeah.
Like that was the first time that I like really understood the depths of AI.
Yeah, I heard it was a beat by Metro Boomin that the AI made by studying Metro Boomin's beats. And it was lyrics the AI made by studying Jay-Z's lyrics. And they made a verse, a song, essentially, where the AI wrote the words, it sounded like something Jay-Z would say, and AI made the beat, and it sounded like a Metro Boomin beat. And I'm sitting there like, this is a Jay-Z song with Metro Boomin, and neither one of them are involved. Yeah. And it sounds good.
Oh, yeah. Like that Kanye song, I was like, that's a hit. Like, that's a banger.
Crazy.
It is crazy.
But it gets crazier because with AI coming, there's the fear that it can replace jobs. Any job that isn't manual labor can essentially be replaced. There are people that are making websites. You tell the AI what you want, hit a button, and your website's built in 5 minutes. There's a guy designing his own clothing line through AI.
Yeah, but isn't that expensive though?
Well,
are people going to be able to? Obviously, there's a certain demographic, right? Mm-hmm. That'll be able to afford certain things, but I can't imagine that necessarily being like affordable.
But the fear is in the CEO of Walmart doing it and laying off employees, or the fear is the CEO of the airline doing it and laying off employees, or the CEO of whatever call center and laying off employees. The big wigs will be the only ones that could probably afford it, but the entry level positions, I mean, even above entry level, there's some potential that they could be eliminated. Like if you can design the clothing with this program, I mean, unless you just want to use the kids in the sweatshop, you can kind of get rid of the kids in the sweatshop and let the AI do it. So you save labor here on man labor with AI, which you don't have to pay a salary or give benefits to or give the day off to.
Yeah.
Wow.
But one thing, well, I guess you'll always have somebody there. But one thing about technology is like it's not always reliable. I mean, people aren't either, but like, you know what I'm saying? There's always mishaps and technology can always be hacked. So I think that like people should really be careful because it could really ultimately do more harm than good. I mean, the idea and the concept of it is great, but the potential like effects of it, I hope people are really considering that.
No bull. And I'll tell a really, really quick story about how I fired myself in 2003. I was working for the Federal Communications Commission in a call center. I'm doing tech support. And they had me and another coworker write down all the most common questions we get and the basic solution to each question. And they enter that into a database. So all you have to do is click online, click the question, and the answer pops up. And they literally fired me after we completed that task. The call center was eventually weighing down to one human, and everything else was just you click the answers online. So I've seen this up close to a degree, and yeah, I fired myself trying to help out. So, and that was 20 years ago. Damn, I'm old, but anyway, that's wild, man. The AI thing is really tripping me out, and I don't know what to say, but be careful.
Right.
just be careful. God, and don't be dumb as we get into Don't Be Dumb Award. If I can find
So dumb. You are really dumb. For real.
now this
Awesome.
this
Awesome.
is
For real.
Brittany's child's father decided that
What my baby daddy do?
he said that he's no longer your children will not be assigned gender until they come of age to assign themselves their own gender.
Mhm.
He calls them babies. And he refers to them, they use to pronounce them and they, and they dress gender neutral. They're like 2, 5, and 8. They dress gender neutral and they play with boys and girls toys. And he has not given them a particular gender identity. And he says because he was born a woman and always felt like he was really a man. And because he went through that, he didn't want his children to go through it. So he has not assigned them a gender. I'll let you go first.
So, although that's not ideal, when we start talking about being inclusive, you know what I'm saying, and making sure that we are respecting people and how they feel and how they want to identify, and then you go on the other side and you talk about how your body, your choice, etc., etc. I mean, if you're gonna make life a choice and who you are a choice and what you do a choice, then you got to allow people to. Uh, it can go to whatever extent that it shall. You know what I mean? Like I would never want to call anybody's real opinions and how they feel ridiculous, but I mean, I'm it's bound to happen now that we have really, really been making sure that people, are able to choose their gender and who they want to identify as.
I think it's a slippery slope, man. I'm not a fan of it. I don't like it. I I do think that when your child becomes an adult, they should have the right to choose whatever, choose their own religion, their gender, whatever. But I think if you give a 3-year-old the option to choose their gender, I don't know that they're making an intelligent decision or well thought. Their brains aren't fully developed at that point,
Yeah.
and you're just throwing them out. Be whatever. I
It
don't
could
like
cause
it.
confusion.
Yeah, absolutely. Because it makes you ask questions you wouldn't normally ask. You know, it's a reason that I guess you could say some people were keeping quiet, but there's more cases of transgender and identity politics, identity crisis now than it's ever been because you're allowing these impressionable children to just do whatever. And you weren't always able to do whatever. And if you say, hey, you want that's why the people that are having the surgery as teenagers in early 20s are trying to go back and sue the doctors. And you have to go through a medical evaluation before you can even do that. So you went through psychiatric, evaluation.
Minors. And as a minor, you're technically considered incompetent. That's
Exactly. And then they do the gender reassignment surgery, and then they get in their 30s and realize, wait a minute, I want my thing back. Can't get it back now.
yeah, too late. Yeah, and I feel like it's one of those things where I agree, with you, but I feel like that's definitely something that's like to each is their very own.
Yeah, I'm not going to stand in front of the Capitol and march against you. I'm not even going to really.
It's never
I'm
that
gonna
deep.
mind my business.
Yeah, and I get the intent, right? Now is the way of going about how you want to make sure, and then you also have to understand who you're dealing with. You're dealing with somebody who was literally forced in their mind,
Mhm.
right, to be something that they felt they were not. So it's just like someone who's been through something. They want to make sure that their child, or they want to make sure that person that they cares about doesn't have to go through it. So whereas you and I may be sitting here like that's kind of crazy, it makes perfect sense to dad.
Yeah, exactly, and I think that's when you passing your traumas along to your children. When you're because you can, my kids will never be poor like I was poor, but then you feel to teach them the value of hard work or something. You can overcompensate, and I think this sounds like a huge overcompensation to me. And Nina
Yeah.
says, but how do they deal in society as it is? I mean, I don't know. I think you're putting up more roadblocks. But let's
But
start.
now, but I mean now it's a thing to be called them they.
Yeah, Jav. But then that gets
I
tricky too.
mean,
It gets tricky too. Well, even on Instagram or Facebook, whatever, it'll ask you what your pronouns are. On
yeah,
LinkedIn,
LinkedIn,
LinkedIn asked me what my pronoun was.
absolutely. So, not for nothing.
I mean, I guess anything, it's wacky to me, but um, we're not it doesn't seem. I don't know if it's dangerous, and so I'll just mind my business. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, fair enough.
Now, also relating to Brittany, her favorite toy growing up, the Mattel Barbie dolls, have decided that they want to be inclusive and they want everyone to feel represented. And they are making their first Barbie that has Down syndrome. Okay.
I like I always like I say, I always try to step back and look at the intent. I get it. Let's be inclusive, right? Because there are and dealing with clients like who have special needs with a lot of accounts that I have are special needs trusts, and regardless of the I guess type of special need, right? Cuz I deal with people who require 24/7 care to people who just have kind of like a TBI, but they have a certain level of capacity, right? Okay. So I get why it's important to give children, and now, with us being able to identify with more children having Down syndrome, it's like, okay, give them someone, make them feel special. The Barbie is cute. I feel like the only thing that I could see that people were taking offense to is how they described the reason why that doll was Down syndrome, right? The rounder face, the almond eyes, the what did they say? Because I actually wrote this one down. Oh, the flat nasal bulge and then the short torso. And I'm thinking about it, and I'm like, well, I've got almond eyes. My face flicked round. I got long legs and a short torso. Like, what is y'all talking about? You know what I'm saying? So, like, what are you saying? But like I said, I think that I didn't really get to see, because I try not to just look at one post, because I did see one post, and there were, there were some alls and then there were some whats. But at the end of the day, I see what they're trying to do.
Yeah, I think this one we're gonna we'll clap it up for the intent, because
Yeah.
I do think this is a good intent.
Mhm.
Okay, going into our Nipsey Hussle Award, and a couple legends, if you will.
If it's sports, if it's fashion, if it's music, if it's hustling, whatever, you on a marathon, so.
On your marathon, and these gentlemen were definitely on their marathon. The late, great Harry Belafonte, Mr. Dale. He like, come man, we wanna go home. He said that. Okay, never mind. Don't get me started. But rest in peace to Harry Belafonte. He was, really before my time, but I do understand that he brought calypso music to the forefront of this country, and Afrobeats is a derivative of calypso. So bridging that gap, filling in the holes, putting that story together. What do you know about Harry Belafonte? Do you know anything about the late great?
I mean, I just know that he's late and great. There's been Emmys and Oscars and Tonys. I also know that didn't he have something to do with, or didn't he have some type of relationship with Martin Luther King Jr.?
I am pretty sure he did. He was at the forefront of the civil rights movement. I'm not 100% sure, but I would bet your next check
Yeah.
on that he was.
Yeah, I think he was known for just more than his music, right?
Oh yeah, he was definitely an activist.
Yeah, for sure.
And he ruffled a few feathers maybe a decade or so ago, recently with Jay-Z, because he implied that Jay-Z and Beyonce weren't giving back enough. And Jay-Z response to that was, "How do you know?"
Right.
But where'd you even get that from? Like, I have to make a list of every time I get back.
Exactly.
Yeah, he was heavy into civil rights activism, absolutely. But rest in peace, Harry Belafonte. And also, I guess when it comes to daytime TV, he was a great. Rest in peace to Jerry Springer.
Man.
Jerry.
Jerry.
I outgrew Jerry Springer very quickly, probably before everyone else did. But there was a time where I watched it every single day, and I cannot lie, and I enjoyed it. So I did get older, did grow out of it, did look at it, some simpleton stuff. I didn't like the way it portrayed our people, but a lot of times he portrayed white people the same way.
Oh
So
yeah, it was definitely an equal
Yeah.
opportunity. It was just hams. I don't care what color you were. He straight up hams.
Can you think of any Jerry story that just had you falling out your shit?
Not falling out my chair. Well, okay.
Okay.
Well, let's talk about the one that went completely viral. And it was
Okay.
where you remember the white girl was dating a black guy. And like you could literally tell he was black. And he went on the show to tell her he was black. And she was like, "What? You're black? I can't date a black man," and he was just like, and Jerry was like, "So you couldn't look at him and Jerry, no, I was just so in love. Like, I was like, okay, like, is this real?" But it was like that moment was one of those, like, I started like feeling like, is this fake? Because
Right.
there's no way.
Right.
But you gotta love Jerry because he kept the crowd going. And honestly, I just kind of liked his comments of what like was going on. But
Yeah, that old uncle humor.
yes,
Little
very much.
corny little zingers he would throw out there.
Yes. And
Hey, wait
growing
a
up,
minute.
I wasn't really allowed to watch him. I was a little
Oh.
bit younger than you. So I think by the time like I was old enough to watch it, I think it did kind of get fake, kind of like them court shows, you know what I'm saying? So I don't think that the episodes that I had started watching were quite hitting like they used to, but I still always, I fuck with Jerry.
Okay. Well, rest in peace, Jerry. And You Are Not the Father isn't Jerry. That's
That's
Maury.
Maury.
Right. The comment is like, yeah, you are not the father. That's not Jerry. You are not the right show. That was
I
Maury.
can't see the comments, so
Oh, okay. But yeah, that was Maury Povich. Let's see.
Netflix and chill. What does that even mean?
It means, what are you watching? I have watched a couple things this week. I definitely want to send a shout out to Hughes, Alan Hughes, who directed the most recent Tupac documentary, Dear Mama. It's a documentary that analyzes the relationship between Tupac and Afeni, his mother, her Black Panther roots, him in the rap game in the streets, and how they interacted in their lives. And it's really good. I'm a Tupac historian, I would say. So I have countless documentaries, countless unseen footage, things that not many people have access to. And this documentary has stuff I've never seen. Like, I can tell you who's in his, like, his Aunt Glow. Like, I know his family members by how much I've studied and researched. And it's stuff in there that I'm like, where did this come from?
yeah.
I have the same speech, but that line is cut out of my version. And it's if you're a Tupac fan and you're into the documentaries and you don't want to see now one more Tupac documentary because you've seen them all, still watch this one.
Still watch that one.
Yeah, because this is going to be something you haven't seen before.
Yeah, I gotta watch it still. Like I said, I've kind of been the only thing I've been making time to watch is basketball. But things should slow down a little bit. I'm gonna take a little break around my birthday. So I'm gonna catch up. There's some shows that I definitely want to watch because I want to watch Succession too.
Me too. Now, I haven't started it yet. Have you started it?
I started the first episode and I'm hooked.
Okay.
But I can't keep going, but I'm hooked.
All right, I'm gonna jump on Succession at some point too. It's a horror story, so I think MGM Plus or MGM FX, I forget what it's on, but it's a horror show. It's about you get into the small town, and once you drive into the town, you can't leave. And at night, these monsters, come out, and what they do is they'll disguise themselves. So it'll be, let's say, like, Brittany, you're in the house chilling. I'm not going to do them. Like, it's me. I want to do the podcast. Let's do the podcast. And you'll look and you'll see me. But, oh, who wants to do the podcast? And you open the door, and I'm really that monster. If you let the monster in, it'll of course kill you. And if you stay outside past dark, it'll kill you. And they have these talismans that they put on the doors so the monsters can't get in unless you let them in. It's good. It's Harold Perrineau, the dude with the dreads from The Best Man, the corny dude, Mertz,
Mm-hmm.
who's on also Oz. It's his show. It's pretty good. I would definitely recommend checking that out. I think that's all I've been watching. So, yeah. And basketball.
Right.
And basketball for sure. And we're about to get up out of here very shortly because I know you want to get back to those Celtics and see what they're doing. But I do want to let y'all know that Jack Harlow's album is pretty good. I kind of slept on it, but it's pretty good. Swiss has a new album out, EP, that's decent as well. And my Choke and Stroke playlist was destroyed. And I want to thank all of you kickbackers on Facebook and Instagram for helping me rebuild it. It is now like 4.5 hours long. I want to cut it down to like 2.5 hours, and I will have that legendary playlist back. Brittany, so you know, there were like over 60, 70 subscribers to that playlist over the last couple of years. A lot of babies were created to that playlist. And I feel so a lot of them named after me. There's something called New, some called Nile, some called The Mayor, some called No Breaks, Righteous Ratchet. There are a lot of kids named after me based on that playlist. So I'm going to get it back, and I'll put it back out in the ether so you guys can download it and continue to have pajama time to it. But so if you're listening to this, either in the comments or inbox me at No Breaks New on Instagram, and tell me what your favorite make love songs, your favorite sex songs are, so I can add those to the playlist. So make sure you shoot me a couple songs at No Breaks New. Brittany, what songs you like? They fit into that category.
That fit into that category. I'm like kind of old schoolish, so really and truly anything that's like 90s, 2000s R&B. You
Okay.
can turn it on and we can, you know what I'm saying?
With some Jodeci.
Oh my God. So Jodeci, some Silk, honey.
Silk. Yeah,
Mm,
the Red album.
okay.
Is that
Don't sleep on Avant. Don't sleep on Avant.
Yo.
Do not sleep on Avant.
Okay. Now I don't have any Avant on there.
Don't sleep on Avant.
So I'm gonna go, yeah. What's the girl that Avant always sings with?
Kiki.
Yeah, and we
Kiki
know
or Deborah Cox, though. He did the We Can't Be Friends with Deborah.
that was RL. See, you are not the father.
Why did I always? Oh my God.
Let me guess. We all look alike. We all look alike. What you saying?
No, I messed that one up. Well, then in that case, it's definitely Kiki.
You know, Kiki, whatever Kiki got, she got that Badu box, whatever she got going on. So her voice probably will do some things. Oh, Trey Songz, got to throw him in there.
Mm-hmm.
I still keep Prince on my playlist.
Yeah.
Gotta have some Prince. Kalani, Tiana Taylor, Jasmine Sullivan.
Yeah.
Gotta have some Jasmine. So I'll let you guys, when the playlist is done, I'll post it. You can always click the link in the description to get the pod named Kickback playlist, which is just the most current songs that's rocking. Give you about 30, 40, good hour or two of music of what's current, what's new. If you didn't download all these albums, you can download that playlist and see which albums you want to check out. And feels good to be back. How you feel tonight, Brittany?
I feel good. I feel good. I don't know if you checked the score or not, but my Celtics is killing tonight.
And Joel Embiid, the league MVP, came back. He's playing tonight, and y'all are doing that.
We doing a thing, okay?
I'm sure y'all were a little pissed off that they stole that first game from you without him. So I expected y'all to come out and
for sure.
Everybody
got a little excited. I was like, okay.
Gotta relax.
It's definitely about to be the Celtics and the Warriors in the finals.
I picked the Warriors to win it all by beating the Bucks. The Bucks are out of it, so that can only come to half and half. But I'm going with the Celtics. I mean, with the Warriors still, and I guess I have them beaten. I'm gonna say Philly. I still want to go with Philly. Just so it'll be something different. I don't want to see them beat y'all again.
Anyway,
all right, well, let's get up out of here unless you want to make your predictions first.
Because you've tried it.
All right, well, we'll see you guys next week. Thank you for tuning in. Brittany, thank you for being here.
Of course.
You guys enjoy the rest of your evening, enjoy the rest of your week. And believe in yourself. It's Mental Health Awareness Month. Prioritize yourself.
Please.
All right? 30 minutes of cardio, y'all, every day.
Peace.